Hey 8th graders, today's assignment is day 4 individual data, and this is the last day of individual work that we're going to have before we move on and get assigned our teams and are able to move forward with them designing the best incubator design that you guys can. With that being said, your learning targets for today, I can plan, build, test, and analyze different baby warmer designs. So you guys are going to do anywhere from 3 to 5 designs. The requirement is at least 3. So if you guys don't want to do 4 and 5, you don't have to. But if you guys feel that your first 3 are not that great and you want to do better, or you think you can do better, then I left some room for you guys to do a 4th and a 5th design if you would like. And then at the end of this, you guys are going to write a CER explanation or a claim, evidence, and reasoning to explain which of your designs is the best. Okay, so go ahead, take a second, pause this video while you guys read through the bell ringer message here. And then you guys have some questions to answer. On day 3, you took a look at several different materials you will use for your baby warmer design. What are some materials you'll feel would benefit your design the most? And what are some materials you feel may not work as well? So tell me which materials might help you or hurt you, and then answer why. And then also while you're at it, go ahead and go to slide 4, right click this, link the design cycle, and then you guys will open and watch this YouTube video. So go ahead, take a second, pause this video, go complete through slide 4, and when you're ready, we'll come back and move on to our collection of individual data. Okay. So like I said in the introduction is you guys are going to be building at least, so 3 is your minimum, 3 designs that you will analyze and decide which one is your best. Again, if you feel like in those 3 designs you haven't made your best design, then you guys are more than welcome to do a 4th and a 5th as well, or whatever you need to do better. Okay, so today you'll use the baby warmer design tool to design and collect data on 3 to 5 incubator designs. You will analyze your designs and choose one design you feel is your individual best design. You will then write a CER, which is a claim, evidence, and reasoning, to explain why you felt this design was the best. So that's going to be how you conclude. At the end of this assignment, you won't be able to turn it in yet because part of tomorrow's assignment or day 5's assignment is to get with your team, share your CER, and your CER will be peer edited by your team. So there's going to be a spot at the bottom for your team to peer edit. So don't turn that in until your team has peer edited your design. Okay, with that being said, this is how you guys are going to do your designs. Remember that you have 3 criteria that you need to keep in mind. Number 1, keep the baby's temperature as close to 37 degrees Celsius as possible. Remember that is body temperature. 2, minimize the time in minutes outside of the healthy temperature range. Remember, we're testing our subject for 720 minutes, so how many minutes is outside of that 36.5 to 37.5 degrees Celsius time range. Okay, and then keep your costs low. So obviously this is going to someone in maybe a third world country or where there's just not a lot of medical access. So it's important that these are affordable so these people can actually have them. Okay, all right, so here's what your guys' designs, each of them are gonna look like. So you guys can see on slide 7, it says version 1 right here. You guys will type anywhere you guys see a blue box. So anywhere there's a blue box, you guys have to put in some data. So plan, you guys are gonna tell me what you plan to do with your design. So what's your intent with this first design? How do you intend to achieve it? Obviously on your first one, it's a little bit harder to make a plan. But once you guys are in your second one, you guys will kind of know, all right, this is what went well on the first one. This is what didn't go well on the first one. And then, so you guys will kind of go from there as far as choosing what you're going to do for your next design. Again, it'll be easier once you guys have a little bit of background information on that. Okay, so you guys will start by writing your plan. Then you guys will actually go into your baby warmer. Let me see if this is going to load for me this morning. There it is. So you guys will go in, you guys will build. Remember, you guys can do any combination. So yesterday we did a lot of isolation of the different materials. Today you guys will get to experiment and say, all right, I want to add 1 PCMA, 2B, 3C. Think about, like I said, if you need to go back and review day 3 and kind of look at what some of that individual data helped you and maybe what combination of these PCMs are going to be most ideal for your incubator design. Okay, and then again, you guys did some research on insulating material, so you kind of know which ones are going to insulate the best. And again, you're more than welcome to do more than 3 designs if you feel like you just weren't quite getting where you needed to be in your first 3. Okay, so make your plan. Tell me what you use. So how many PCMs A, B, and C, and then what insulating material did you use and how many layers of that material did you use. Okay, then go ahead, test your design. Once you guys test your design, you guys can go ahead, collect your data from the next slide. So here is our data. 36.7 is my baby's average temperature, time outside the healthy range, total cost. Remember, there's a $20 cost for just the sleeping bag alone, and then whatever you add to that is gonna add on top of that $20. Okay, so baby's average temperature, time outside the healthy range in minutes, and then their total cost. And then just write a couple of quick notes about how you feel it did, what looked really good on it, stuff like that. Okay, I did you guys just analyze a little bit differently because I really wanted to make sure you guys were getting the most out of this. So what you're gonna do for each of these designs is this kind of analyze. So you're gonna look at your design criteria 1. Remember, that's your body temperature close to 37 degrees Celsius. So you're gonna rank it 4, 3, 2, 1, use your draw tool. Just say, all right, was this the best that I think I could do as far as criteria 1, or 1 being the worst? Design criteria 2 was time outside of the healthy range, so how many minutes, and then cost was design criteria number 3. So go ahead and use your draw tool to rank 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you think you did on that test? And then I really like this pros and cons thing that we did the other day. So I want you guys to make a list of pros and cons. Again, you should be focusing heavily on our whole design criteria. So look at plateau times, look at times out, obviously your data you're collected for those three criteria, cost, things like that. And then what will you do differently for your next design? So what did you like about this? What did you not like about this? So answer those 2 questions right here. So you guys should have at least 2 or 3 items in each of these pros and cons lists. Okay, so I'm gonna go 2, 2, 3, and same here, 2, 2, 3. Okay, so you guys should have at least 2 to 3 things in each of these lists. Okay. All right, then you guys would go on, do plan number 2, same kind of analysis there, where you guys are ranking your 3 design criteria based on your design you just did, pros and cons of that, and what will you do differently. Okay, so remember that you need to do at least 3 designs, so that means you're required to complete through slide 15. Slide 16 for plan 4, you guys can see it says optional on the top. So optional, optional, same with plan 5, optional, optional, optional. So for those ones, you don't have to do 15 through 22, okay? But the rest of this is something you need to do because it's one of our learning targets that you guys can write a CER explaining which is your best one. So you're gonna go ahead and start with our claim. You're gonna use your draw tool to circle of your 3 or 5. You might have used 3, you might have used 5. Which one was your best design? So go back, read through your pros and cons, look through your data, look through how you kind of rank those, and just circle 4, 3, 2, 1, which is your first or best design. This is going to be your first sentence in your CER is, I think this was my best design, and tell me which number it is. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and use some evidence to back that. So for your best design, you're going to go ahead and kind of reiterate what you did. So what were you using for those as far as the PCMs and the insulating materials? What was your final data for this? Notice how there's not a blue box on additional notes. There's nothing you guys need to add in there, so you're just filling in where there's a blue box. Okay, evidence, what was your second best result as far as baby's average temperature? So maybe you guys would say, all right, my design number 3 was my second best as far as my first criteria on baby's average temperature. And then you guys would put in there, all right, it came in at 35.8. Okay, so you guys would need to add that actual data in there for what was your second best. Okay, if we're looking at maybe time outside of the healthy range, it might have been my 5th design, and it maybe had 300 minutes outside. So you guys are actually going to fill in some data there. Basically, anything you guys are doing on slide 22 through 27 are going to be what you need to put in. It's information you need to put into your CER. Okay, and then what was your second best result as far as cost? Maybe it was design number 2 and it cost $85. Okay, so it could look something like that. So you guys will just have to kind of play that by whatever your data says. So you'll look at those and analyze those individually. Again, this is going to be data that you're probably going to want to use in your CER as part of your guys' CER is doing a comparison. So presenting what your data looks like and then doing a comparison to what kind of your next best looked like. Okay, and then onto the reasoning part. While all three design criteria are important, rank them using a 1 for most important to a 3 for least important. So this is based on what you guys feel, and yes, you'll need to justify yourself, but you might say, all right, I think cost is the least important. It's still important, but it's the least important of the 3. And maybe I think this is the most important and this is the second most important. Okay, that's really up to you how you guys deem the priorities on these. So then explain why you guys ranked your number 3 criteria. So if I did low cost as my least important, tell me why you chose that. Okay, same with 2 and 1. If you did time outside the healthy range as your number 1, explain why you guys chose that as your number 1. Okay, and then how does your design, your best design fit with your ideas? So based on how you rank these, how does your design kind of fit in with that idea? Okay, so here's how you guys are going to put together your CER. So basically everything you guys had on 22 through 27 needs to be incorporated into your paragraph in some sort. This is going to be a pretty hardy paragraph, should be quite a few sentences. Okay, so use all that information from slides 22 through 27 to write a CER explaining which of your designs are best. Your paragraph should start with the claim. So your very first sentence is, design number 2 is my best design. Okay, you should use ample evidence to support your claim, including what materials were used for your design. So that was on slide 23. And then what your data was, again, that's from slide 23. Some comparisons with slide 24, and then explain why your evidence leads you to believe this design is best. So think about what you guys did for your ranking, why you justified your ranking, and how that led you to kind of think that this is why this design is the best. So explain your evidence, why your evidence leads you to believe this design is best, including discussing which design criteria you feel have priority and the reasoning as to why. You guys will write your CER here. Again, if you guys need to, you can make the font smaller so you guys can fit it, but it should be a pretty full page there. Okay, once you guys are done writing your CER, you're gonna kind of do this self-review. So I want you to read through these boxes and say, all right, does my claim clearly state which design is best? That should be your first sentence. If you guys did that, put an X through it. If you didn't do that, go back and do it. Okay, the components of the design are stated, so I can explain which PCMs are used, what insulating materials and layers you used. If you did that, put an X. If you didn't, go back and fix it. All data for the design is stated. The baby's average temp, time outside a healthy range, and cost. Again, if you did it, great. X it off. If you didn't, go back and add it. Comparisons are made to other designs, including some data for those designs. So you don't necessarily have to use all of your second best, but you guys should probably use at least 2 of your second best. So that was on slide 24. So again, you don't need to include absolutely everything on slide 24, but you definitely should make some comparisons to strengthen your evidence. Okay, and then the design criteria priorities are discussed and explained. So you kind of tell me which one you think is most important and why, which one you think is least important and why. And then you're gonna sum up why this design is the best as far as your priorities and your design criteria. So you're just gonna tie it all together and explain why you guys think this kind of fits in with your ideas of which priority is the best. Okay, so again, remember, do not hand this in yet because tomorrow you're going to get with a team. You definitely need to have your CER done by tomorrow. When you get with your team tomorrow, you're going to share computers with them. They're going to read your CER together, and they're going to kind of do your peer review to say, all right, did you actually do all these components? Okay, then you will turn it in, and then I will do the same thing. I will kind of check through, did you guys do all these components? And then at the end of this, you guys can do your exit ticket and hand it in. Okay, any questions? Okay, make sure you guys let me know. You're all good to hand it in once your peer review is done. Again, don't hand it in until you guys have a chance to peer review with your actual assigned team from tomorrow. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.